This video was made possible by Dashlane. Protect your online identity for free at dashlane.com/HAI. Missiles are pretty awesome as long as they're not pointed at you. Meanwhile, the mail is not very awesome, according to the views I get on any mail-related topics. Put them together though, and you get a completely awesome neutral thing: missile mail. Now, of course this sounds crazy and impractical, but for a while, missile-transported mail was what many believed to be the future. There are plenty of ways that mail has been or is delivered beyond just planes, trains, and automobiles. For example, 100 years ago, mail was delivered by sled dog in Alaska and by telemark skiers in Colorado. Still today, mail is delivered by boat for houses on Geneva Lake, Wisconsin, by helicopter for residents of Little Diomede, Alaska, and by mule for those that live in Supai, Arizona. Only about 3,000 people ever, though, have had their official US mail transported by rocket. In the 1950s, despite both telegraph and phones existing, the mail was still a major means of communication thanks to its low cost. People cared as much about the speed of mail then as they do about their internet speed nowadays. Trains are slow, cars are faster, planes are even faster, but missiles are the fastest. Therefore, that was the high IQ idea: delivering mail by missile. Now, you might notice a few issues with this plan. Missiles are expensive, hard to retrieve, and oh yeah, they are literally supersonic death machines. Even if you take the explosive out of a rocket, it plus the ground is not a recipe for success. Unless you're going for widespread death and destruction, but that's bad, I'm told. Nonetheless, this has been tried a few times throughout history at a small scale. Not the death and destruction, to clarify, the US tried that at full scale, but the missile mail. In the beginning, these tests generally took the form of just loading a few letters into a small missile that would be sent over a river or field, but during World War II, killing enthusiasts put a bunch of effort in developing accurate, long-range missiles. By the 50s, these could travel hundreds of miles and reliably land on a small target. That advancement coincided with the reign of Arthur Ellsworth Summerfield, Postmaster General. Much like being a YouTuber, being Postmaster General was once super well respected. This was because the mail was once incredibly important, and therefore Summerfield had significant enough powers to advocate for the testing and implementation of rocket mail, as he really truly believed it was the future. He rather famously said, "Before man reaches the moon, your mail will be delivered within hours from New York to California, to England, to India, or to Australia by guided missiles. We stand on the threshold of rocket mail." In reality, all that he was on the threshold of was wasting a lot of money. In 1959, an official US Post Office branch was established on the USS Barbaro, a 311-foot-long submarine capable of firing missiles. While the Barbaro was docked at its home base in Norfolk, Virginia, a Regulus cruise missile was loaded on board, which itself was not loaded with the nuclear payload it was designed for. It was loaded with 3,000 pieces of mail. The submarine then left Norfolk, headed into the Atlantic Ocean, and sailed south. After a few days, it reached roughly here, and at 12 noon, the submarine fired its special mail missile. After 22 minutes in the air, the missile splashed down just off the coast of Naval Station Mayport in Florida, from where it was subsequently retrieved. From there, the letters were removed and brought to the nearest non-floating post office to continue their journey to their destinations. Now, considering that most of the letters were headed to DC, Europe, and the rest of the world, this rocket moved the mail, well, in the exact wrong direction. All the letters in the missile were actually written by Postmaster General Summerfield to the US President, politicians, and the Postmaster Generals of every other Universal Postal Union member country. This test was a mix of the military showing off to the Soviets and Summerfield showing off to the politicians and his postmaster friends. Today, the letters that took that rocket ride are hugely popular with philatelic enthusiasts, those who collect stamps and related materials, and are sold regularly for almost $500, but that's about all this test was good for. The missile, without even considering the days it took to get in position, flew 100 miles in 22 minutes, making it slower than a normal jet plane. Even though modern missiles are much faster, they're still hugely expensive and often can't be reused. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why mail delivery by rockets never caught on. With widespread jet planes and the internet nowadays, there just isn't the need anymore for super fast mail delivery. There is the need for two other things though: a reliable means to keep your online identity safe and drone-delivered quesadillas. The good news is that one of those exists. The bad news is that I still need to make my own quesadillas like a caveman, but at least I have better online security than a caveman. That's because I use Dashlane, which tracks all the online accounts I have and alerts me if any website I use has had a security breach. It also tracks the dark web to see if any of your data is up for sale, has a built-in VPN so that your Wi-Fi connection will be secure even on insecure Wi-Fi networks, and keeps all your passwords in one super secure place so you can have complex ones without forgetting them. Best of all, you can try all these features for free for 30 days by signing up at dashlane.com/HAI. If you don't find them worth it, it's no big deal because Dashlane's free service is still great, but if you do continue using Premium, you can get 10% off by using the code HAI at checkout.